My name is Ebrima, Sisay, and I go by Abraham. I was born in West Africa, and I grew up playing soccer, basically as a little kid. And I got really good at it, but it was never my intention to become a good soccer player. However, I came across an opportunity to get sponsorship by Puma and travel and actually be serious. But I had a friend with me that always was there, and he was kind of like someone that was always competing with me. I was better, but he was good. So I ended up getting the opportunity, and before I could even go and like explore, he ended up drowning when we went to the beach just to celebrate. And that's when I started having mental problem. But back then I had no idea that it was a mental illness. To me, it was just like, okay, I'm under a lot of stress. This is happening to me. I want to talk about it, but no one is there to talk to me about. And while I was going through that, I ended up getting molested by someone who was posing as this, good guy in the community, and he was consulting all of us, the team. I'm pretty sure that there were other kids from the team back then that also got molested, but we never talked about it. I never talked about it, and I just kept it to myself. And that made my problems even worse. And I developed this stutter through that stress and like anxiety and literally having panic attacks in the middle of the game. And that led to me giving up on something that I, was really good at and I cared about. And, I felt bad that I left because it's something that everyone believed in me. But I did not see it because at that point I was just in pain and I wanted to leave. And I did. So that's how I ended up in America, just to get away from those problems, those mental problems. But again, back then, I didn't know it was mental illness. I came to America, and that's how I found out that it was mental illness. And I was lucky enough to see a therapist who literally walked me through my entire past, which while it was happening, I didn't believe it because I was like, no, let me call my mom and ask her whether I had a friend that passed away. So it was just like, oh my God, this happened. Why did this happen? How did I forget this very important aspect of my life? And what happened in between? And that's where I actually learned about mental health. I learned that, I had like a severe like anxiety, I had trauma, I had PTSD, and like all these things that I have never heard of. And that just opened a whole different doors for me to know myself and be okay with all these things that actually happened to me and like accept myself first before anyone else could actually like see me for who I am and what I'm capable of. So therapy led me to where I am today, honestly, which was just being open and being okay to talk about my story. In the beginning, it was very rough. I would literally cry while I'm talking about it because it was, it's not something they hear where someone is like, yo, I was molested. So it was like, especially that part was literally making me cry all the time. But one thing that really got to me was that, man, I could have been playing at Manchester United. Like, can you imagine that? Like, but I did not, back then I didn't have the resources to actually work through those mental problems, and hopefully I'll get back and play and not have to give up. But yeah, so here we are today, and I have so much information about mental health, and I'm hoping that I'll connect with as many kids as possible, anyone that has a vision, has something that they deeply care about, but all of this illness is telling them that you are your anxiety, you are your depression, you can't do anything, and hopefully they can hear me speak and then realize that this is not who I am. It's just it's just an experience right now. It's something that I'm going through, but it's not who I am. It is not my identity as well. So that is so important, and it literally saved my life. Those little, that statement, understanding that this is just an experience. It is not my identity. I can actually like have power over this experience that happened to me. It is not my fault. I was just a little kid. What can I do back then? And I didn't have the resources to actually talk about it. Or be brave enough to like face it. So again, I'm hoping that I'll just some kid that's in the same. Hopefully that's not the case. No, I don't want anyone to be in this situation that I went through. But however, if there's someone in it, just to be brave enough to be like, hey, this is not okay. This happened to me, and early intervention is key in any issue. And I'm hoping that with mental illness, we can start with the upcoming generation and they can be brave enough to stand up for themselves and be okay at talking about their own feelings. And me being a dad now, it's like, I want that for my kid to grow up in a space where he's able to talk about his feelings within his friends, where they're playing soccer and it's like, hey man, I'm not feeling too good. Like, what's happening? How is your spirit? Like, let's talk about it. So that would be a big like win for me if I can see kids having conversation, because they're gonna grow up in a space where it is okay to talk about your emotions. It doesn't matter whether you're black, white, whatever your color is, your gender, it doesn't matter. You can be able to talk about your feelings and people actually listen to you. So that's my goal.
That's a beautiful